Welcome everyone to the MMOs.com podcast. This is episode 52 now, and this is Altai joined by
Omer.
Gumble.
That's you, Matt.
Shit, Matt.
Chirelia.
All right, the whole gang is here.
There.
Yo.
Oh shit, I'm tired, man.
You guys would think on the 1 year MMOs.com podcast anniversary, all right? This is the anniversary edition, episode 52, all right? We get the names correct in the right order, but no. Matt, you are the reason we can't have nice things.
Hey, usually it's Chirelia. Leave me alone. I got it wrong one time. One time, guys.
The one time was on the anniversary edition,
Yeah,
all right?
but see, I'm
Alright,
like,
then just
I'm
start
like
over.
last.
It's a video.
I'm
God
last,
damn,
so it's
come
like a lot less bad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But
She
you're in
messed
the
up,
middle.
Okay.
It's real obvious, Matt. Matt.
All right. It's the anniversary edition. If you guys tuned in for all 52 episodes, you are awesome. And
Wow,
everyone, we have a special reward for everybody in the podcast today on the live channel. Everyone gets a free Lamborghini, all right? Everybody.
Are you copying
All right.
Leafy?
Lamborghini.
Are you stealing
Leafy on that
Leafy's
one.
line?
You know what? Yeah, everybody gets 2 Lamborghinis, all right? Yes, that's from Leafy.
Hashtag no
Hashtag
scam.
no scam. Exactly.
No scam.
But in all realities, we'll give it to Gumby to take it away with the weekly raid.
All right, so this week, inspired in part by Overwatch, if you guys have been paying attention, Blizzard has put together quite a few narrative videos. And I'm curious, how important is narrative in MMOs? I feel like in most games, it takes a backseat to gameplay. Some games like Star Wars: The Old Republic and Final Fantasy XIV, they do try and incorporate this larger, epic narrative. But for me, at least, it always falls flat. A lot of games suffer from the chosen hero complex, where you're the chosen one with, everyone else count as other people.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes, it's just a cliche good versus evil story, and it's kind of a letdown. So I normally don't get engaged at all, and I used to play a lot of JRPGs, and I only played for the story. So I'm curious what everyone thinks about narrative in MMOs, really specifically MMORPGs, because a game like Rust isn't about to have a story.
Yo, Russ has a
I-
deep
I-
story.
I was
right?
gonna say.
Other than a nudist colony gone wild, but
I was
yeah.
gonna say in Overwatch, you mentioned Overwatch is doing narrative videos. I don't see that having any effect
Well, let me
on me.
explain why Overwatch. Okay, so what Blizzard did, they can't put narrative in the game, but they've tried to build up this world by making all these really engaging cinematics. I don't know if you saw the Hanzo cinematic that came out this week. I think a lot of people in chat did, but it was really, really well done, and it makes the world feel alive even if it's outside the game. And I think even doing that is enough to establish a story within a game world that makes the world feel more alive, more engaging, rather than just being this game that you would play. Without those videos, I feel like Overwatch wouldn't have the same allure that it does. Those really have hyped it up and made this fleshed out world. I think it's very important. I think story
Do you
games
have a
are
link to
really
this
great
video?
medium for telling stories. Yeah,
I
let
mean,
me
you
get
have
that link for you.
to.
Is it called
credit
Dragons?
them a lot to the
Yeah.
Overwatch cinematics team. They did a really good job, especially with the reveal.
Right.
The reveal cinematic.
And that makes you
like-
feel more engaged, right? It makes you
Yeah,
care more about the
it
game.
does.
So what place does narrative have in MMOs these days?
I think it's something
Right.
really hard to pull off. For me, my first game actually didn't pull it off. Like Ultima Online, I never felt like there was any narrative. But the next game I played, EverQuest, pulled it off in spades. NPCs would talk to each other as you walked by, and it somehow did it well. And I didn't encounter that again in an MMORPG since. So WoW didn't do it for me, even though it did have lore.
No, Black Desert.
Black
Didn't
Desert
have
did?
it.
What you've just described is not narrative, though. That's a feature. That's not narrative.
It creates an
But it creates
immersive
narrative.
environment that allows narrative to thrive.
Yeah, I felt
you
like
can create
the
narrative in a
world, something was going on in the world, and I was part of that story rather than being the story. If that makes sense.
Makes some sense.
Oh, I see.
Okay, I feel like narrative has literally no place in
Wow.
MMOs.
Really?
I feel like they should put up a backstory that like builds up the world that you're like living in, but I don't feel like there should be an overall narrative pushing you through the game.
That's
I think
interesting that you said it, because I have to disagree, because otherwise then, what's the point of undertaking anything in the game, unless it's, a straight sandbox, like, say, something like Worm Online.
Okay, I'm gonna cut you off there, Gumby. Do you really
guess.
go kill those 5 slimes because you really care about the narrative? in
No,
the game?
no,
like,
I understand
that
that.
man's farm is being terrorized by those slimes. You gotta
That's
stop,
what I
right,
said
Gumby?
in the post, is that I have never played an MMO where I felt the narrative really got me engaged. And I'm wondering if it can be done and if it's something that the industry should strive for. And
Okay,
I'm going to go ahead and say that it can be done. I don't know how, but I would prefer that.
I know of. That I know of. There's a single MMO that has an
Really?
engaging
Please
that has an
enlighten us.
engaging storyline based on Star Wars: The Old Republic.
Yeah,
that's
so that's
the
what
only
I
one that
meant.
I'm aware of. And you know how they did it? They took
The
out
stupid
all the
choices.
MMO. They took out all of the MMO for the. So
That's true.
MMOs, there's no place for narrative in MMOs. It may be the only genre that there's no place for it, but
Wow.
there's no place for it.
I'm trying to think if I can think of an example where I felt there was a narrative.
I mean,
Besides
Brilliant.
I felt WoW had a narrative. It didn't engage with me, but it had it. Like for example, the Onyxia quest line and stuff. Like you heard NPCs talking in the city. Like Onyxia was actually an NPC, I think, in the capital at one point, right?
something like that. I forgot.
Yeah, but
I remember it too. Though.
So I felt like I felt like things were going on, even if I wasn't part of it. And I think a few games pulled that off well. WoW tried, and I think for a lot of people it did pull it off. So
Well, see, that's the thing. You can have a world where it feels like things are going on, but you maybe don't take part in them, and still do that without a narrative. Just go to the places, you visit them. There are things going on when you visit. You know, like NPCs are talking about this thing happening or
Right.
that thing happening.
But
maybe they can handle it on their own. You don't have to be like some hero that comes and kills the dragons, burning down their village one night at a time.
you
You know,
don't have to. But I mean, it does happen. Like again, WoW kind of I think pulled it off. I
you
think
just said earlier that you don't think WoW pulled it off.
I didn't
and
engage
that
with it, but they
Everquest pulled
tried.
it.
Okay, and I think for a lot of people,
They pulled it off, but you didn't engage with it. That is a contradictory.
No, it's not.
No, hold on. That's an important point, right? I think a lot of games do try and pull it off. Like for myself, and I notice it, but I don't give a shit.
Okay,
So I
exactly.
So I lean towards what Matt's saying. Is I agree that maybe it doesn't have a place at all.
I have a good
Engaging.
counterpoint. There's a good
Go ahead.
counterpoint. If somebody just brought it up, what about Diablo 2? I mean, you could say it's an action RPG and not an MMORPG, and there's
Yeah,
obviously distinctions over there. But
No,
when you
that's
played
fair.
Diablo 2, didn't you feel like you were engaged with narrative? Because one thing I really liked about Diablo
No,
2
you're
was
right.
the story. Even
Yeah.
though everyone ran through
Diablo
the same
2 is
exact
not
story.
a fair comparison at all, though,
Why?
because it's made for like 1 to 4 people.
But you have the
1 to 8.
per
Do I
match.
Diablo
get
3 is
that
4.
definition? Oh, let me get that
Four.
definition up.
Okay.
I'm gonna count it.
No,
Is it
that's
massive?
not what I'm saying. I'm saying
Gumball,
it's
is Diablo
not-
2 an MMO?
Yes.
Will you rule?
No, okay, that's not what I'm
It
saying.
has,
I'm
it has so
saying
many
that
degrees. Diablo 2 is an MMORPG.
MMORPGs where you have thousands of people in one world in one
Yeah.
time. That's different than
Well,
Diablo
the question
2.
was MMO though. I knew MMORPG was a dangerous thing to ask, but MMO you can ask.
Okay, but that's a little different, okay? Because then you're looking at like things like Overwatch, and sure,
Yeah.
narrative could have a place in Overwatch because
That's what I'm
you could
saying.
have an overarching campaign that plays like Halo that could be attached to Overwatch any minute right now.
Sure.
Alright,
See, then this is
as someone who has not seen a single Overwatch cinematic, I still really love the characters in the game. So like, you don't have to watch and enjoy the cinematics
No.
to be engaged.
okay. Well, then take all of my opinions and attach RPG to the MMO thing.
No. I think, and I have to agree with you, man. I think I lean towards what you were saying before when it comes to MMORPGs, but I think Diablo 2 is a great example of a game that's multiplayer and it has a big focus on gameplay mechanics, but it does have this story you care about. And it's true, I did really enjoy all the Diablos, really, except for maybe 3, which is just 2 of them. I really
All
did
the
care.
Diablo, every single one.
All 2 of them. I did
Alright.
really care, and I wanted
So
to.
I have a kind of a controversial view on this. I think
Please.
that I think that people like there's only a certain amount of people that actually care a lot about the narrative. I feel,
Yeah,
and I
no.
feel like all those people should just make an RP guild and make their own narrative.
They should just
Ooh.
go read a
Yeah.
book.
We should put them all in a
You
box.
have your own narrative within the game that relates
Okay,
to
but-
you.
There are 2 types of people that care about the narrative. The ones that want to come up with and can come up with their own stuff that works, and the ones that want somebody else to do it for them.
It's
You know,
true.
you know what was one that did it kind of interesting was Mabinogi, because in Mabinogi all player characters were like the OP, like you are the hero, because they were like part of a different race. Like only player characters were in that race, and like none of the NPCs were. So that's kind of an interesting way that they did it, because a lot of
Yeah.
games, like you said, they have that whole you are the one hero, right? But in Mabinogi, it was like everyone that you see as player is a hero.
Shu, can I point
Okay.
something out real quick? It's a bit of a digression, and we can go back to it.
Sure.
I just want to point that Shu is always able to link anything we talk about back to Mabinogi. No matter what's going on, we can always bring Mabinogi into the mix.
Moby Nogi's really different.
It was real. I agree.
So I've
It
heard.
was. If you experienced it, it really did leave an impression as being something actually unique, like in the MMORPG space.
It
But I
feels
want to.
like you're really in the world in that game, I think.
Yeah, that is again. Narrative's a good word for Mabinogi.
Also, another example of an older MMORPG I feel like did the not again, it's not narrative, but it was really the only MMORPG that explained servers within the lore and the story. Ultima Online. When you first launched the game, there's this little cutscene, right, about this warrior trying. There was a guy named Mundane. He had the world inside this crystal ball. He was like doing his crazy magic on it. And when the hero slayed Mundane, the crystal shattered and it turned the world into like 100 different pieces. And each piece was its own server. So
A
it
shard.
kind of explains a shard.
Yeah.
It explained the server system like within the lore, which I thought was kind of interesting.
Yeah. So each
No
shard
other
was
game
actually a
do
world
that.
inside a fragment of this globe.
Yeah, and they were like
So-
clones of each other, which actually explained it. It was actually really well done.
I want to circle back a little with the narrative for Overwatch specifically. I think it's so
Go ahead.
important to build those kind of videos, John, that we just watched in the podcast, because can you imagine someone cosplaying or getting interested in a character from like let's say Counter-Strike, right? Where there's a generic
Right.
Counter-Strike dude, or
A
Hanzo,
terrorist.
who's got like
Elite
who has
crew.
the tattoo, who's got the sword, who's got the unique outfit. I can see people in a year or two going to BlizzCon, going to these PAX
Even
things.
this year.
Yeah, dressed as the Overwatch characters because Blizzard is putting all this effort into branding them almost, and building
Looking
this.
forward to that Tracer cosplay to the 0.2% of girls in our audience here.
I'm
I mean-
looking forward to the CS:GO cosplay. Look at this.
They have
I think
CS:GO
I just-
cosplay.
Please,
I think-
please share.
Oh, wow, that's
Oh,
a-
wow.
Is that
Damn.
factory new
Vulcan.
shoe?
Is that
Is that
factory
factory
new
shoe?
Vulcan? It looks factory new. Looks factory.
That did say exactly what I thought it said. Ninjas.
Her tits might be factory new as well, boys. Oh,
Dude, she
God.
even has the fucking sticker on the.
Yeah, A
on the
plus,
cup.
dude.
That's good.
Yo, those are factory new. I can tell.
But I mean, I don't feel like there has to be like a character for people to want to cosplay. I mean, look at, any MMO, people cosplay the classes, right? They're not necessarily.
Okay, you don't need it, but I think it helps to kind of put some personality and
Yeah, I agree.
behind the character. I think it's good for branding for the company, and I think
Oh, that's why Blizzard's doing it.
Steam actually got the ball rolling on this because do you guys remember those old TF2 videos like Meet the
Yes.
Blank? I used to love those. I used to watch them like a dozen times. Some of them are like the spy one was
We'd watch with
hilarious.
friends just because we enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And it gets you engaged to the game too.
Oh, there it is. All right, so narrative. Some people say it's good. Some people say it ain't. And what else is there to say?
All right, Seinfeld, calm down.
All right, guys, I'm going to transition this out to a
Please.
topic I'm very much interested in because we
Oh,
discussed
wow.
last week that we made a bet on Tree of Savior. How
Oh.
popular
All
it
right,
would be this
time for
week.
the
Let's
bet.
skip this topic. Let's skip
Bring,
it.
no, no,
I have
bring out the notepad.
I have
want
the
everyone's
notepad. I have the
guesses.
notepad with everyone's guesses. So let's watch. Let's see what we
Alright.
got. All right. So, TOS
I
concurrent.
fucking lost.
Okay, remember we didn't say peak, Omar. I wrote it down here. Concurrent, like right now. We didn't say
Mhm.
peak. So let's look here.
24-hour peak, we said.
No, we didn't. We
No,
said
no.
we said playing currently. I wrote it down, so I know it.
Well, it depends on what time we do it then. And
Well,
the servers
Go
are
ahead.
qui-
That's why we
Aaron,
we specifically said
you were going
said this time next week. Because I remember and I wrote it down.
Okay.
look at
Anyways, just say what everybody's bets are and let's get to it.
All right.
All right.
Yeah. Don't. All right. Here we go. Matt 25K. Omar is at 40K. Sean 20K. Shu 18. Altai 17. It's currently at 32,000. So the winner
win.
is, yeah, Matt is the closest.
Oh,
Oh, good
shit.
job, Matt.
Good job,
That's
Matt.
called rounding up.
So Matt wins the bet. What happened there, Omar?
I ain't buy. I'm pretty sure we agreed to 24-hour peak. That was
No, I mean you in
No,
your
no,
mind you
you
did some
wrote it
mental
down.
gymnastics, but this
Omer, he wrote it down.
I ain't buying what he's putting down, boys.
to put it in perspective, though, Tree of Savior has done exceptionally well. Most of us did guess too low. It's had a 42,887 24-hour peak, which is much more than I expected. 32,000 people playing 9 minutes ago. So it is doing very well. And I actually thought it wouldn't do well due to the number of bug reports I kept hearing about. But
Wait,
It seemed-
okay. Wait,
What?
so I won, so I take Omer's victory from the intro argument.
No, that wasn't mentioned in the podcast. Can't bring it up.
So I don't know. I don't think any of us have really. We all kind of got our fill, and I remember saying that when we talked about the founders packs and early access, how a lot of people who would buy in originally would kind of fall out of favor with it. But apparently, free to play is working out pretty well for Trio Savior. Shu, I don't know. Shu, you were our resident Trio Savior expert, but I think you said you had kind of fallen out of it, right?
I haven't played it in a while. I mean, I want to play it, but I just, there's a lot of other things to do right now. Maybe when things die down a bit.
Okay, so I think it's all right. I think it's safe to say it'll make money, it'll be successful, people are enjoying it, right? But I don't think it's going to have the same impact as Ragnarok Online 1. I think it's safe to say at this point, right?
That's not a fair. I don't think that's a fair comparison.
No, it's not a comparison, just an observation.
Not fair, but okay, just to get on that point, you gotta remember Ragnarok Online came out at an interesting time when it was really the free-to-play private server game that you could hop on. Whereas now there's this huge library that's always growing and yada yada yada. So it's a different atmosphere, a different climate for True Savior to be released. I will say though that the reviews, I'm kind of surprised. Reviews are mixed, and Steam has this cool new feature if you guys use Steam where it shows you the general consensus on recent reviews, and those are also mixed. So it seems.
Well, keep in mind, if you started playing right when it went from buy to play to free to play, there's a huge influx of players that it makes the early experience unplayable. Okay, this is
of course
everything. It's like playing BDO right when it launched. It was very chaotic, and give it some time to smooth things over. I think the early experience will get a lot better.
Interesting.
Didn't
wonder what the numbers will mellow out at.
Crash on the first day?
Yeah.
Well, looking at Steam charts, they've peaked. They've dropped to 0 quite a few times,
that
showing
means
that they crashed. So clearly has some issues. I'm actually pretty happy to hear it though. I mean, we had talked about Trio Savior for months. I think we've been talking about Trio Savior since the first podcast. So nice to see it doing well. We'll see where it goes in the future. I don't know. Does anyone know what the level cap is currently? Remember, it's supposed to be 600.
It's high. Over 200.
I think it's 800. I think it's 800.
That's what I read. 800.
That's what I read, at least.
You know what is good about Trio Savior though is that they kept kind of the MVP thing from Ragnarok. I feel like that was a really good system.
Yep, I like the rating.
Did you guys MVP in Ragnarok?
Of course.
Yeah,
I was like,
MVPing.
that was
the
great.
MVP cards was impossible.
Dude, it was like it's like 2 a.m. and you have like a couple of friends online. It's like, hey, let's all go MVPing, and that was really fun. That was like some of the best memories from Ragnarok. So I'm glad they kept that in Trio Savior, and I hope that kind of helps them to build a community like aspect. Because as of now, like I don't really think there's very much to do. So
I do want to point out that chat did clarify that right now the max level is around 250, 260, 280. So it's not the promised original 600, whatever astronomical number they pull out of their ass just to get people excited. Whether or not it ever hits that high, I have no idea, because I think the game is released before a lot of content that they had originally promised was in there. So they're definitely planning in the long-term haul. They're just going to keep adding on numbers for as long as they can keep it going.
Oh wait, 280? Maybe that's why I thought it was 800.
I have a question about. I have a quick question. Do you guys know if it's officially released now, or is it open beta now? Because I know before it was early access.
I think
it's officially released.
Okay, so full release. No OB garbage.
According to Steam, there's no early access tag, and I trust that. So.
All right, that's good.
Which doesn't happen often. We should gotta give it a little clap here for not having a little early access tag slapped on it like most games.
Wait, but if you think about it, if you've looked at what every MMO developer says, every live game is an open beta. That's
a piss poor attitude from the developers then.
Because it's never done, so therefore it's always an open beta.
According to Aaron here, it's a service, so.
Yeah, service.
It's a service, so they.
It's like saying Netflix is an open beta because they keep adding new shows. You know.
They keep us in contracts, and Amazon picks them up. Anyway, let's transition out.
We got to talk about NCSoft because I thought I'm a numbers guy, and I know Matt put an article on their Q1 results. So we're going to show that on the stream.
Both.
Oh, this is good news for Shu. Her least favorite game is
her prediction is on point.
Wait, for Blade
Take it away.
No, not Blade.
Okay, so you can see from they basically NCSoft reported their Q1 earnings results. So every quarter, these big, huge companies report what their sales are, and you can see how games are doing.
WildStar.
Yeah, Lineage is still killing it. Lineage 2 is growing still year over year. Aeon is doing well. If you look at Blade and Soul, since it went free to play, America won. That's the first quarter, so it might be a little bit, not a fair look, but it boomed. But then you look at WildStar, and it's shitting the bed. WildStar.
Oh yeah.
crap to bed. It's a mess.
Okay, so WildStar had hit its peak high for the year when it went free to play, and then immediately right after dropped straight back off till its peak low.
Yeah.
Or, I mean, it's
And
is that what you call it?
an interesting observation here: WildStar is now making, I think, less money than City of Heroes was when it got shut down
Really?
by NCSoft. So we are already we're approaching the end here. It seems.
And
Mm,
on
Which-
that end,
it's not a good game, guys.
Which I don't. Okay,
go ahead.
who's going?
Okay, I'm just gonna say real quick, WildStar is coming to Steam on June 3rd.
Is that
I
there
don't know
yet?
if that's gonna actually make a difference. Nope, June 3rd.
Huh.
My prediction is a slight influx and then everyone leaves. I don't think it can save it. I think it's the final cry of a game on its deathbed. So we shall see,
Well-
though. Who knows?
Basically, what I read about it. Okay, so I haven't actually played enough of WildStar to know this myself, so it's just what I'd read. But what I read is that the attunement process was basically the developers took the opinions of hardcore WoW raiders,
Mm-hmm.
and the actual attunement process for each raid was so absurd that you had to be like a hardcore player to get it done. And the people that didn't do the attunement process and therefore didn't do the raids just quit because there was nothing else to do. That's what I heard.
Well, with any game, you can't just cater to the hardcore player base. I mean, I think that's a given. I mean, as much as we always talk about vanilla WoW and some of the great things, like, you need a game that it appeals to everyone in a way.
Yeah, so basically what they did is they took the advice of the vocal minority hardcore WoW raiders and it tanked. That's what I'm getting.
I mean, you can't blame that on the vocal minority. You blame that on the developers or the designers. The
No,
ball
but
is in their court.
They
Okay.
shouldn't be. I mean, it's a
No, what I said is
developer's
they
job to
listen
take
to
the.
them.
They're
Yes.
supposed to take the feedback and filter it and like decide
Yes.
what's the best. You're not supposed to just listen to. I mean, I have a whole
Yeah, no,
article about how
I'm
you're
saying
not
it's
supposed to
their
listen to exactly what people tell you to do. Listening to your
People know what they
community directly is not good.
I have
Yeah,
some more
it's
stats for
definitely
you
their
guys.
fault.
You guys want some more stats here? Stat injection. Here we go.
Well, all right. Well, before one more stat injection, worth mentioning, 2 employees at Carbine Studios have already left. Mike Donatelli, not to be confused with Ninja Turtle, and Chris Behrens.
I mean, is that
Actually,
news?
later-
Who are these people? Are they like head top guys?
No,
Yeah.
one of the guys. No, they were. I don't know. I don't think they were head guys. One was a design director.
Head of custodial duties has left at Blizzard.
Product director.
That means WoW is getting shut down, you guys.
Which I actually saw about an hour ago. Let me find it. I gotta find the exact quote because someone else reached out and got a statement back.
Oh.
And where is it? Shit.
While you find
There
that,
it is.
I'll give me
Okay.
a stat.
All right,
Here.
go ahead.
I got it. So the statement that they gave to a different site was on March 11th, Carbine Studios conducted a reorganization and staff reduction. While almost all the staff cuts were effective immediately, a handful of people were impacted were asked to remain at Carbine for a few additional weeks in order to complete key projects. Today, the Carbine team remains hard at work on a number of upcoming game and content updates for WildStar. So basically, they were let go in March.
And they stayed on for a little bit longer. I got you.
Yeah.
But regardless, job cuts are always a sign of a sinking ship, all right? Booming companies don't typically do job cuts.
It's worth pointing out that the lead writer also left today, Corey Herndon.
Well, lead writer, we were talking about MMO narratives earlier. Clearly, he could not weave a narrative for us.
Well, considering the status of the other people that ended up leaving, right? I think that he got cut with the people in March.
Mm.
All right, so here's my numbers, boys.
Give us your stat.
Okay, so these numbers you're looking at are in billions of Korean won. So that's the unit here. WildStar this quarter made 1,200 billion won. City of Heroes was making 2,800 when it got shut down. Tabula Rasa was making 2,000 when it got shut down. So it's already below those two. And it is literally at the same level as Guild Wars 1 when it went into maintenance mode. So Guild Wars 1, like a decade after it came out, was making as much money as WildStar now.
Ouch.
So I want to hear your guys' thoughts on this. So I mentioned it in the article, but because of the bad performance of WildStar and the fact that they're moving to Protobucks now, people are speculating already that they're going to either Carbine is going to take over publishing duties or they're going to get sold off, which I think this might be a first for NCSoft, at least in the West, that they have a separate cash op currency that isn't Endcoin. So what do you guys think?
Okay, one guy said this had to do with the Steam listing, but I don't know if that's true because a lot of games.
No, I don't think that's true. 'Cause,
Yeah, I don't think it's true
Ion
either.
and stuff were on
Yeah.
there too.
Yeah. So yeah, I do think it's gonna get spun off, maybe sold or as independent, some kind of independent studio that just survives on Steam. That's my bet. Anyone
Makes
else?
sense. I mean, otherwise, it seems kind of random to these proto bucks.
I'm gonna laugh so hard if it's Red Fox. It's gonna get shut down.
It will be the best game on
Shut
Redbox's
down.
stable.
And
Super games.
stopped.
All right, one more thing. I know we talked about these million Korean wons. I want to put that into context. Is honestly, who here actually knows what a million Korean wons are? So if you look at the numbers for WildStar, 1,282 million Korean wons is about $1 million. So in 3 months, WildStar made $1 million, which is it seems like a lot of dollars, but like for a company like NCSoft, which is worth billions, making $1 million in a quarter from a game. But how many employees do you think they have? Like they have to pay those developers
Many.
make like 50
Yeah.
to 100K a year.
Is that net or is that?
No,
That's
gross.
revenue.
This is
That's
gross
revenue.
revenue.
Oh, that's not good then.
That's awful. 'cause
Okay. I don't mean to make a bad joke, but they have at least 3 less than they did last quarter.
It's N
That's
minus
true.
3.
And -3. So I mean, $1 million a quarter is nothing. A game like WildStar makes $4 million. They can't pay their employees. They can't pay their expenses. So remember that one South Korean investment bank that predicted the game would shut down by the end of this year? I think they sound pretty spot on right now. I think it's going to be rest in pepperoni by the end of this year.
Yeah, that's the way it's looking.
No,
Alright, well-
I don't think it's going to die off, but I do think that at least it's going to come to its time at the end of its time at NCSoft. Now, whether or not it shows up somewhere else is going to depend on their contract, because Tabula Rasa hasn't been resurrected, and because it's rumored that Richard Garriott tried to bring it back, but NCSoft owns the rights to it, and they have no desire to bring it back, you know?
All right.
Maybe they
Well,
just give Richard Garriott
In
the
shutting down news, guys, do you guys remember we did a preview for Lord of Vermilion Arena Online by Square Enix?
Oh yeah, I briefly remember
I
that.
remember
You want to
that.
explain what that was real quick? for
Okay,
people
so
who
that was some
weren't
kind
there?
of, well, it was like some kind, you have like pets or summons and you fight, but it's by Square Enix and that's also getting shut down now. And that follows Square
Did it even
Enix.
release?
No, it
Oh,
never
that
came
is
out.
Sad.
Wasn't it one of the few that didn't have an IP block from Square Enix?
Yes, I do remember people playing it.
I never actually tried it, but I was always kind of like casually interested, but I never like actually took the plunge and tried it.
I think all these games just need to add like lowly characters. It's the only way to save them.
It can only help.
I think Square Enix is just moving away from everything but mobile. That's my guess. And because they also
Final
shut
Fantasy
down.
15.
Yeah,
I
they're
think
still.
Final Fantasy. If Final Fantasy doesn't get another sequel, I think Final Fantasy 15 might be their last big hurrah.
Yeah.
No, they'll do Final Fantasy 16 on mobile if they have to, but I don't think they're not giving up on the.
No, they're gonna do it on mobile. They're not gonna give up on it.
No,
Actually,
I'm not
do you
saying
guys,
that. I'm
uh,
saying it's going to be their last big hurrah for a massive console
Mhm.
RPG.
Do you guys actually know the numbers for the? Because Final Fantasy X and X2 recently released on Steam, right? Do we have the numbers on how well their games do on Steam? Because it
We can see
seems
how many
like
people are playing.
it
Yeah,
seems
we
like
can
they're
look it up
it
right now.
seems like they're working on really pushing like Steam. Because like if I look at my library, I have Final Fantasy 3, 9, 7, 8. X, X2, 8, like I have all of them. I purchased all of them. I haven't played a single one yet. But
Yeah.
I bought all of them.
There's
So
there's a difference between monetizing your old games, which they're doing, which is smart, and making like new games for console, right? Like,
yeah,
I think
but do you-
Which one do you
that's what I'm
want to
saying
know?
is, do you feel like maybe these if they get good numbers on these, and maybe like what if they actually start to release also on PC to try to get that market? Because I know there's a lot of people that
Okay,
don't
wait.
play the games because
So-
they don't have the console.
So you said you wanted to know how well they do on Steam, and you're not talking about like concurrent users, right? You're talking about owners.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so which one do you want to know?
Well, right now,
Owners.
10,000 people is concurrent, right? Peak 24 hours. But what are
No,
the owners?
which one? Which one? Just
X.
give me any
XX2.
X and X2. Right now, it is sitting at between 100 and 120,000.
Wow, and it came out pretty recently, and it's an old game.
And
So-
the one that's doing the best right now is Final Fantasy VII, and it's sitting between 955 and 1,005,000
Owners.
What the fuck?
Owners. Yeah.
All right,
Wow,
For
that
the
is
record,
impressive.
that game makes more than what WildStar makes in 6 months. All right, well, Final Fantasy X and X2 remastered, where they took an old game and relaunched it. They made more money than WildStar in 6 months. So there is money to be made in obviously remastering, relaunching your games. I think one
Yeah,
company
but-
that does that pretty well is
This-
Atlas.
The second highest one, the one that sucks, Final Fantasy 13, the first one,
Mhm.
between 550 and like 580,000 owners.
So this
Yes,
bears on
so-
a decision too. Continue, Shu.
So yeah, yes, that's what I'm saying. Is that like maybe this will affect like how they look at their business going on from here, thinking like, you know, we have this whole market that we haven't really been tapping. Like, what if we release our new game also on PC, like right away, and like maybe that will give them reason to continue with Final Fantasy. You know, like not moving it like straight onto mobile, right?
Yeah.
No, I don't think. I think they have no reason not to monetize on Steam their old games, because who's buying FF10 on Steam? It's people
Nostalgia.
like us who played it on PS2, but just now we moved on to PC and we just want to relive our childhood or whatever. I don't think anyone new is going to be playing this.
Some people will, but mostly you're right. A lot of people will just rebuy it on there. But it's
Okay,
another channel for sales. It's
That's
simple as
like,
that.
I guarantee you, Final Fantasy VII, any new sales were by people who have friends that are like, you have to play this, and they
Yep.
go and they play it for like 10 minutes, and they're like, this is the ugliest shit I have ever seen, and they quit.
I agree. I'm 100% behind that thought.
All right. Well, before we transition to another topic, I want you to share this wonderful GIF, completely unrelated, but I thought was hilarious. It's called "Look Both Ways Before Crossing."
What? It's so stupid.
The end is perfect. The end is just perfect.
All right, the ending. The ending.
Oh my god, that's pretty good.
All right, well, just wanted to mention Square Enix also shut down Gunslinger Stratos Reloaded. So this is, I think Square is kind of getting out of the online MMO free to play style game, which they never really got into it, but they were kind of thinking about it and then they pulled out.
They might very well be.
I think the next huge mobile game we see, I will bet you it'll be Dungeon Fighter Online mobile, because I know Nexon's working on it, and I think it's gonna be set to release later this year, second half of this year, and I think it's gonna be a killing. Because let's not forget, guys, Dungeon Fighter Online as a whole makes more money, more revenue than World of Warcraft. It is actually the highest grossing MMORPG in the world. This year. I'm not counting all previous years.
Well,
Last
what
year
about
was as well.
What about the ironically gorgeous Final Fantasy XI Online?
There you go. It is having that free trial though.
No, Final
It's only for
Fantasy
returning
11 or
players.
mobile. I meant Final Fantasy 11 mobile. That's the one. Ironically gorgeous Final
Oh.
Fantasy 11 mobile.
You know what else
I
is
also
mobile?
have-
FF9.
They have Final Fantasy 11 as a mobile version. I wrote an article about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard about that. It came out. I remember reading about it.
It's
A
not
while
out,
back. Not out yet.
but no. But they also have Lineage 2. They have 2 versions of it coming to mobile. What about that? That might do well.
Was that for one of that was the Chinese market only? And that was
Yeah.
Lineage's NCSoft though, not Nexon.
Okay.
Yeah. I think it'll make money because if you look at Lineage and Lineage 2, they were big franchises in China. I mean, obviously Lineage 1 is basically just making a killing in Korea, but I think Lineage and Lineage 2 mobile could do really well. There was a video on it too. I remember showing it on the weekly news recaps. It actually looked like an MMORPG, which is nice. But then again, it could be one of those Chinese games that play themselves, which would be unfortunate.
All right, transition time. Speaking of Chinese games, because I've been
All right.
waiting for this one. Oh, one of our favorite companies here at MMOs.com, Tencent, has announced the TGP box, which is essentially Tencent's console. So Tencent is finally
All right,
entering
pause.
the
Pause.
console
Can you guys guess what TGP stands for without looking?
Okay, the gaming
I already know.
place.
The Tencent Gaming Place is my guess. I didn't look either.
Yeah, like Tencent gaming platform or something.
All right.
Oh, platform.
Yeah, it's Tencent gaming platform.
And it's
Oh.
gonna be cutting you off.
No, it's Tencent Games platform.
Oh, whatever. But
Anyway,
anyways,
the console will run on Windows 10, so essentially it's just like what consoles are. It's just going to be a computer that they'll sell at at a cheaper rate than building your own, and it's launching with League of Legends, which is an interesting title to put on a console, Monster Hunter Online, and Need for Speed Hot Pursuit Tournament.
And also FIFA Online 3.
So it's just a Steam box, basically.
It's not a console.
It's essentially just a computer
Yeah.
that's being packaged and sold, marketed as a console.
Okay,
But I
so
imagine it does have an Xbox-like controller. I'm curious how a game like League of Legends,
It's not going to
Monster
work.
Hunter
It's
Online,
terrible.
must have to use a keyboard and mouse.
Sean missed a huge detail. It's got a TGP mode, which is like Tencent game platform mode. And what I'm assuming that is you know how Steam boxes are like a computer, but they run off of the Steam big picture mode basically 90% of the time. That's what I'm assuming TGP mode is going to be. 10cent's own Steam like big picture mode. So it's going to be a console when you want it to run like a console, but otherwise it'll just be a computer.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
Interesting. Yeah,
You know
it does
what's
say
really funny
Windows 10.
about this console is that it'll have different options. So you choose what Intel chip you want. So just like buying a computer, you're like, do I want the i3, the i5, the i7? So it really is just this. I wonder if it's modular. No word on that, but that would be pretty cool if it
I
was.
doubt
I
it.
highly doubt that.
I feel it's unfair to call it a
way
console.
too cool for Tencent. I mean, look, if they want to market it as a console, it looks like a console. It's got a controller. I'm calling it a console.
It's not a console, though.
Why not?
It's just
Why
a
not?
PC.
Well, what's a
What is
console then?
already? Yeah, what's a console but a PC, a specialized PC?
It's not specialized.
What?
It's just
It means not specialized.
if I go to Best Buy, buy a graphics card, a motherboard, and a case, is that a custom CPU? Is that like is it a console now?
It is if you want it to be.
No. It's
What
making any
if
sense.
you install Linux on it,
Well, okay.
put it inside an
So-
arcade cabinet, and just play emulators?
Doesn't Tencent have like some kind of program, kind of like the Steam one, the Steam console program? I'm sure they're gonna have
Probably.
something like
Well, yeah,
that.
but we're talking about the TGP
Well, then,
thing.
But-
I guess that makes it a console.
It's not
But
a
anyways-
console.
Omer. Okay, so you're missing something else. Console gaming was banned in China for years.
Yes, I know.
And it was
Yeah.
just recently the ban was lifted. Tencent is calling this a console and releasing this to capitalize on it before
The hype.
everyone else brings their consoles to China.
Okay, but it still does. It's still not fair to call it a console. I don't think it's disingenuous. It's not
Alright.
a
It's a
console.
marketing term, though. In this
It's a gimmick.
case, it is a marketing gimmick. Yes. In this specific case, it's a marketing gimmick so that Tencent can be like, "Look at us. We've got a console. We're in China for you."
So right now, I am podcasting on a console. See, I have an Xbox controller plugged into my PC right now, so it's a console, right? Because if you have a controller and a PC,
I'm about
it's a
to
console.
defend you, Omer. I'm about to agree with Omer. The fact that this thing runs Windows 10 tells me it's a computer. But on the contrary, if I can install Linux on my PS4 and have a functional Linux operating system on my PS4, I would call that a console. I think that the software is what's going to define what it
Yeah.
actually is, not the hardware. So if it actually is just straight up freaking Windows 10, which it very well may be, I don't think it will. I think it's going to be something like the Steam Big Picture. Then I would call it just a computer. But if it's
a
launching a
computer.
Big Picture, then it's going to be a console. I think the software is what's going to determine it.
Can I just take a moment here? I don't normally defend communist dictatorships, but banning consoles, what a great idea. You know, I mean, I think we can learn a few things from China. You know, they got
Here
they
goes
got-
Erhan again.
they got
with the
work they have a good work
Time to
ethic,
drink.
right? They got good work ethic. They don't waste food. They eat everything, and they ban consoles. I mean, that's
Whoa,
pretty
I eat
good.
Everything too.
All right, guys, I'll be right back. I'm gonna have to drink if he's gonna keep doing this too.
Alden, share that console peasant thing that you showed me with the
Glorious People's Republic.
PC,
Wait, what
notebook
console thing?
nobles.
You've
you
all
know,
seen it, but I'll link it again.
Yeah,
Oh,
it was-
we love
pretty good.
old memes.
but it's
Ugh.
whatever. Again, it's them capitalizing on it, but I don't think China is going to be a big market for PS4, Xbox. Like
So
our
why wouldn't it be a
traditional
big
Western-
market for this, though?
I don't
you
think
discounting this too?
Yes, I'm completely discounting this.
Okay, but normally what makes a console special is that you sell it at a cheaper rate than a computer that would do the same thing. So if they can sell this at a cheap enough price for specialized games like League of Legends, you don't think it would do well? Imagine this is like $200, and in China, you know,
But I don't think a company like Tencent is a massive company. Don't get me wrong.
oh, they're
right?
humongous, yeah.
They're over a $200 billion company, but they're a gaming and software company. It's not
Right.
like they don't have if they had the manufacturing capacity, they could sell it for a subsidized amount because they're making it themselves, right? But no, they're buying the software from Microsoft. They're buying the components from some other manufacturer in China. Like
Intel, they have a deal.
all
with
they're
Intel.
doing is pre-packaging together. They have no cost advantage, unless they're willing to lose
yeah.
money on every unit. Like they have no economies of scale to like be able to sell it really,
And
really
why
cheap.
are they doing this? They're not stupid, so why are they doing it?
I'll tell you why. Some executive is like, yo, consoles are being opened up. We gotta get in on this shit. Let's make it happen, boys.
Yeah, you're right. Okay.
All right, I already said that. So anyways.
Yeah, that's the way it
All
is.
right, Matt's right. Matt said it first.
I'm gonna sidebar for a moment here and go. This is why loot anime is awesome. Look at this nice little Tokyo Ghoul shot glass.
That's
You
awesome.
know, Tokyo Ghoul.
I don't know any of the words you just said.
Tokyo Ghoul's not bad. No,
I think you knew Tokyo and I think you knew Ghoul,
Yeah.
right?
Oh.
I think you knew shot glass. Shot glass.
I definitely did know shot glass. Fair enough.
Tokyo Ghoul has a good setting, but like the worst story I've ever seen.
okay, it could be better. It's not great, but
It's
it's not.
freaking bad.
Let's save this for the
Shots
end
fired.
of the podcast.
Yeah. I'm sure you pissed off a lot of people, all right? Everyone got their animes they like and dislike, all right? There are no right answers except my
It's
answers.
freaking horrible. It's just bad. I'm sorry.
Speaking of anime, I thought we would just briefly mention that a game we were talking about, Chronicles of Elyria on Kickstarter,
What does that have to do with anime?
successfully funded. That transition made perfect sense. I don't know if anyone's gonna argue with this. That was a literary transition. So Chronicles of Elyria made well over their $900,000 goal. The last time I looked, it was at 960. It's currently at 969. They're doing quite well. There's still 16 days to go. Where will the money train stop? Who knows? But I meant they did it. They did it, and props to them because most of these things completely fail. So we shall see what actually comes out of the final product. I don't know if anyone has any final words. I didn't want to give too much time to the Chronicles of Elyria discussion.
I do want to throw one thing out because we were talking about narrative in a game, right?
Yes.
They very specifically in their intro video talk about like storytelling and like being able to like weave adventures for players that aren't the same, like somewhat like dynamic questing. And it sounds again really awesome on paper.
Oh yeah.
But like we'll see if they can actually pull it off. I'm trying to find out exactly how it worked. But I remember it was in the video, not the description. They're non-repeatable quests. Like so your quest is gonna be like unique. And
That seems very difficult.
So the
That
world
means
is
it's
experienced differently.
procedurally-
A fully
procedurally
destructible
generated
environment.
questing.
Yeah, the basic procedure generated like questing and stuff like that too. So it's supposed to be every character has a unique experience in the world.
Okay,
And
so
again,
wait.
that sounds awesome, but will they be able to do it?
So wait, what you're telling me is this is what I'm imagining right now. So they have that 3 months where they're gonna have people set up buildings and roads and all that crap and all the stuff that nobody wants to hear when they go into an MMO, is that they're gonna have to build the world themselves. Then,
We're a month
like
away.
Terraria, you're gonna have a bunch of NPCs move into your cities, and then they're gonna give you procedurally generated quests based on what's around you. That's what I'm hearing. Because how the fuck else are they gonna do it? Like, where else are you getting these quests from?
I don't know.
Did someone just say Terraria? Yeah, Terraria is a great game, by the way.
Oh my god.
Why don't you just play Starbound?
Oh my god, everyone says that.
It's like pretty much the better Terraria.
But listen, with this Chronicles of Elyria, and you know we talked a lot about the feature bloat, or it's promising too much. Imagine it was a 2D game instead. That way, it's cheaper to make, and they can focus on the features, right? Instead of the graphics and the visuals, and because how much money does it take these days? I would say a significant portion of a MMORPG's budget is art these days, right? So if we can just get rid of that and go back to 2D, like RuneScape,
Yeah,
Dungeon
drop the
Fighter
2D
Online,
nonsense.
MapleStory, all the good games are 2D.
All the good games
Arhan,
are
you're
2D.
like you're like the rebel of this podcast. You just
Okay, I'm going to dispute this.
always
Let's-
dropping
let's-
like this.
Let's look at the most profitable games successful games in the world right now. All right, League of
Please
Legends,
link the list.
League of Legends 2D.
Crossfire,
Okay, that's 3D.
3D.
World of Warcraft,
3D.
Whoa.
World
Is
of Tanks.
Wait. What about
Oh, it's
where's
1D,
Dungeon
right?
Fighter on this list?
Yeah, Dungeon Fighter. I skipped that one because
Why'd you skip that? He's like, I skipped the ones that don't mean what I'm saying.
All right, Trup,
course.
calm down.
Of course.
Okay,
CS:GO.
World of Warcraft, not World of Warcraft, World of Tanks is 1D because all you do is run forward and shoot at things that are in front of you.
No, no, World of Tanks is a deeply strategical game. All right, it's
All right, go
not a
on.
frag fest.
Okay,
All
I'm
right,
counting.
about half the games on this list could be 2D.
Okay,
all
so
right?
half are-
Dota 2 and League, but that's a stretch.
Okay, Dota is more of a stretch than League. League is 2D, straight up. I'm sorry.
League markets itself as a 3D game, regardless. All right.
Okay.
What is it marketing? What does that do?
Amir, have you never played any 2D game where you get launched into the air, like strictly 2D on old consoles and stuff? You could literally do that in a 2D setting.
No, but that's just going up. Then you're just jumping. You know, if you jump in MapleStory, it's not the same thing, right? I can go left. I can go down, left, right. I can go 4 directions, right? At will. 4 directions at will. So it can't be like an arcade game where you
Okay,
like,
jump
go-
at will then. Jump at will,
Guys,
and then you can
that's
have
three.
the 3D.
That's
Because
3.
2D and 2D and 3D is like art and gameplay is separate. Okay, you can't just lump them together conveniently.
Okay, but again, for the record, Wikipedia describes League as a 3D game. Right?
Come on.
Oh, it's
It's
because
real.
art-wise it is 3D. Like all
Hold
the
on, let
assets are in 3D.
I could go look up any MMORPG that isn't like super popular on Wikipedia, and it would probably describe it as like something
Wait,
that
man.
is not. But
If
Okay,
you
but
look
it-
up any MMORPG on Wikipedia that isn't popular, you know which site's gonna have a citation there?
MMOs.com. Yeah, but enough with League of Legends. Let's move on.
But you know
anyways,
what's funny?
Chronicles of Elyria. Okay,
Okay.
so the only thing that's important about Chronicles of Elyria. You guys ready?
I'm ready.
Wow.
It's another bet.
All right,
Really?
bedtime.
Do
Let's
you
pull it out.
think-
Pull out
do
the
you
sheet.
think it'll- Do you think it'll be the next Star Citizen?
Yes.
Oh.
I don't
let's
see. Look, I wish it comes out. My skepticism says it's not going to happen. I'm more of a show me kind of guy. I'm skeptical.
No, I
and
mean
negative.
money, because they've already said they're going to accept PayPal post Kickstarter.
No,
so, I
it's
mean,
not gonna
like,
raise as much.
No,
That's
it
all-
doesn't be as much. He just
It
means
doesn't
it's a
have to be as
scenario.
much. I just mean,
I don't think the game's going to happen the way they claim it's going to happen.
I'm just asking if you think it's going to be the next game to raise exponentially more than the Kickstarter did after the Kickstarter.
So
It's not gonna
currently
make
it's
100
1 million. Okay, so let's set a limit. Do we think it's gonna get past, let's say, 10? Is that a good limit?
Yeah, that's a good limit.
I
Okay,
say
10.
no.
I
Alright.
also say no.
Omar, no. Sean, no. Shumet? Where you guys
It's
stand?
hard to tell, but I think it might. I think it might get past 10.
All right,
Shall we
all
say 1 year?
Matt,
Shall we say 1
we have
year?
a might for Matt. Might.
I'm writing down as a yes. 1 year.
Yeah,
by the
right
way.
down as a yes.
It has to be. There's no might in this. Correct?
Depends.
No, I
depends
know.
how focused they stay on their.
It depends. It's yes or no.
Give me a yes or no.
Should
1
we
year
consider
from
the
now.
answers?
Okay, okay.
On the 100 on the second year anniversary of the MMOs.com podcast, will Chronicles of Elyria have raised 10 million or more?
No.
No.
All right, Matt is the outlier.
All right, this is it's you against the world, Matt.
Well, I won the last one, so I'm automatically winning this one.
That's
I still
true.
count myself as the winner on the last
No,
one. all
you
right?
don't.
We've had witnesses say that they heard
Listen.
24-hour
We
peak.
specifically
But anyway,
said this time next podcast. Like this
you
isn't
specifically wrote that, but doesn't mean
Omar, let me tell you something right now, right? Winners write history. You know who the winners are? We're the winners. we're rewriting history whenever however we need to.
All right.
All right, but yeah. Okay, so it's a loaded way to look at it to say they need to stay on like target, because how the fuck do you stay on target with that many features? Like, what is your overall goal here
Hey,
other
look.
than interactive world?
They might pull it off, but I gotta agree with Omer. I wish them all the luck in the world. You know, that's fine because so far it seems legitimate and honest. But I don't see it coming to fruition the way it's been described.
Yeah.
But wish them the best of luck. I didn't
hope it
donate,
happens.
so I have nothing on the line. Hope it happens.
hope it
It'd be really
happens,
awesome
too.
if it does.
Yeah.
So we'll
Yeah, just
see.
in case everyone thinks that we're super haters, we actually want these games to come out, but
Except
we're,
for Star Citizen.
we're cynical.
Yeah, fuck Star Citizen. Not kidding.
Okay, here's the way I look at it, and this is the way you have to look at it all the time. Okay, I really would like this to work out, but I have my readers to think about and their wallets to think about. So I have to sit here and talk this down like crazy because they're going to look at all those features and go, oh my god. So I have to talk it down at least twice as much to make sure that they don't throw their entire wallet at it.
Are you
Yeah.
saying you're like the defender of wallets, Matt?
No,
The
I'm not.
Matt is
Fair.
concerned
Matt.
about our financial well-being. Matt is our financial advisor, guys.
I like it.
We need like a Kickstarter. What do they call that? Like when a newspaper like watches
Watchdog.
after
Watchdog.
Yeah, we need a Kickstarter watchdog.
Like investigative journalism, all right? The MMOs.com investigative team dives into every Kickstarter, and we label it 1 to 5 from like scam to not scam.
I'll do the quickest Kickstarter watchdog blog. Ready? Don't give your money to Kickstarter.
Okay, no, here. It says if it's investigative journalism, then Chris Roberts spent $3 on a cup of coffee, used corporate credit card. Is this the biggest scandal in all of this Kickstarter?
You gotta have like a tabloid style like cover too, right? So like each.
Yo,
You have, like, the
that
big-
reminds me of Derek Smart. You know, every time, if you look at Derek Smart's tweet, he always tweets about like, look, Chris Roberts spent like $100 on his coffee maker. Fraud.
Actually,
They buy like a new light bulb. He's tweeting about it. Like, look at that light bulb they bought. They could have saved $10 on that light bulb if they bought a Home Depot instead of Williams Sonoma.
So I have an interesting observation here. So this game raised $1 million, and it's considered like a big amount. Star Citizen raised $100 million, right? And that's like the biggest, like wow, right?
Yeah.
But I just read recently the Tetris movie. Yes, there's gonna be a Tetris movie. Has an $80 million budget. So just think about the scales involved here, where $1 million raised on Kickstarter is considered like this big upcoming project, while a pretty much garbage movie. Like there's no chance this movie will be good.
Okay,
I mean,
I've
does
got-
anybody have any idea what it's about?
guys.
Tetris.
Even weirder.
Tetris?
Even weirder. Dark Souls, the board game, raised 3,771,000 pounds, British pounds.
Oh, I heard about this. This is like a fan
Yo,
project, right?
The
I want
board
to play.
game.
I want to watch a Tetris movie. All right, that's what I want to watch. Wait, can anyone explain to me, like, will the Tetris pieces themselves like be like cartoony, walking around the world like with dialogue, or is it like
I don't think we really
I
know
can't
anything
even
about
envision
it.
it?
Adam
It's
Sandler
not-
made a movie with video game characters that was fucking horrible. The word "fuck" is appropriate there, 'cause it was horrible.
Okay,
So,
Adam
I
Sandler
can
has done
imagine-
nothing good for the world since Waterboy and Happy Gilmore.
So I can
right?
imagine the Tetris movie is whatever the hell they want it to be, and they're just gonna do it. We'll see. It's gonna be 15 minutes long and be all special effects, and be about Tetris invading Earth or something.
And speaking of more crowdfunding nonsense, the
Oh please.
the Dota tournament, the annual Dota tournament, is out. TI 6 this year, and they're doing the exact same thing they did every year, which is
Ooh.
you can buy a book, a digital book,
Yes.
and 25% of the proceeds go towards a prize pool. So it's like a way
That
for the
looks so
players to
funny.
support the game and the pro scene, right? And they raised it's up to $4 million in 24 hours. So that's pretty
Wow.
interesting. And they give you a lot of goodies when you buy it, like in-game items. And they got me too. I haven't played Dota in a while, but I still gave them $26 for this digital book.
Okay, so America.
How much did they raise? 4 million now?
4 million.
That's more than what they did last year at this time as well. So they're already on trend to beat last year's huge number. So go Dota, go Valve with the smart crowdfunding.
Yeah.
All right, so Amir, I saw you said something about liking Billy Madison. So, advice to all of our viewers: next time that a Kickstarter with a big name comes up, sit there and think, like Adam Sandler, what has this person done for me in the last decade?
That's
Yeah,
fine.
there you go.
See, apparently, just saying what has this person done for me in the last decade isn't good enough. So think, like Adam Sandler, what has this person done for me in the last decade?
All right, well, look at the Kickstarter I just linked to. All right, here's the MMOs.com journalism, investigative journalism at work. Another wonderful Kickstarter MMORPG called 8-Bit MMORPG.
8-bit
They're trying to
RPG?
raise-
This sounds like it's up my alley.
It's up your alley. Look, we have so much to work with on this Kickstarter. Look, you got a black background
With
and
a flame.
That's really
That flame is
blurry.
8-bit though.
Ooh, I like that flame.
Look how blurry that flame is, though. Like it's not even good.
But
That's
wait,
that flame shit right there.
that
Look how many-
flame alone took him 2 years, and it's animated, but he didn't know how to put a video up because his teacher didn't tell him how to use the code to put the video in.
I was gonna point out, this project has been in work for 2 years now. Wait, what? That actually says that?
Yeah, and he's actually getting help from his college teacher.
I thought you guys were making that up, but now I'm reading it, and there it is.
But, about this project, there's nothing in here.
Guys, I'm gonna
Enough, like,
donate.
cost
I gotta
to-
donate 99999 to this one. This is a winner.
This one's a winner, right? Anyway, the point is, like, you see a lot of projects on Kickstarter where there's nothing. Like, this guy, I mean, he's not going to raise any money because he clearly didn't even try, like, selling the story in this about project. But there's nothing to work with here. Like, everything, because Kickstarter allows bullshit like this, it makes you want to stay away from the entire platform.
This guy's your neighbor, by the way. He lives in Las Vegas.
Oh baby.
You should find him and try out that game and tell us if it's worth it.
Guys, his hobbies include basketball, watching movies, and spending time with the family.
Sounds
Take
like
my
a
money,
fake-
man. Take my money. I don't mean to
Does it
pick on
really
this guy.
say that in there?
Yes, it
I
does.
Mean, no way.
So he's
Where
a
is
college
this?
student.
Yeah.
Where? I'm looking.
If you click on his profile page to see it.
Oh, on his profile page.
Contact me if you want to Netflix and chill. What?
quality Kickstarter page, boys. But
Oh
anyway,
my God,
a lot of
guys.
Kickstarter pages are very questionable, which is why we're always very hesitant about it and we talk it down. I mean, look, there's no, it doesn't hurt to get excited about the game. Just keep your expectations in check. But hey, it's your money. Do whatever you want with it. I wish the game comes out. I want to play it. It sounds awesome, but I'm always, skeptical, and we'll see.
Alright, I have a question.
Go ahead.
Alrighty. Back to the dimensional argument. EVE
What?
Online, still one of the biggest games. It's subscription, doing really
Oh,
well.
I know
still.
where you're going with this.
How many dimensions is EVE Online? I'm gonna say 1 or 0.
It's one because it's an Excel sheet.
It's a spreadsheet, right? With like some visuals in the
Okay,
background.
spreadsheets are 2-dimensional, man. You
Oh,
gotta
are
get it
they?
right.
All right, fine. So EVE
Yeah, but-
Online.
EVE Online is 3D. Come on.
Come
It
what?
is 3D. It's 3D.
It's like
I checked
fake-
it off on the review page. It's 3D.
I got it. I understand everyone's logic now. See, he looks at the mouse cursor, right? The mouse cursor is 2D, all right? So that's everything. 2D.
Well, someone in chat said. Somebody in chat said everything in my monitor is 2D by definition.
Yeah, the monitor is a two-dimensional plane.
I like that logic. It's good.
All right, we talked about games getting canceled and shut down. We got a game that's
Yes.
delayed. Lineage Eternal, actually. Let me look at this trailer.
Is this vaporware? I've been hearing about this for 2 years now.
Yeah, this trailer's from 2011, all right?
Ouch.
The Lineage Eternal trailer's from 2011. And they mentioned their quarterly earnings that it's going to be pushed back to the second half of this, to the third quarter of 2016 instead of the first quarter. So it was supposed to come out in January, February, March. It didn't, so they pushed it back.
That's interesting. I think I did the preview for this, and this is one of those. It was supposed to be more action RPG, and it was trying to do this gimmick, this recent gimmick, where a game is on 3 platforms at once. So it can be on mobile, like your phone, tablet,
Right.
desktop, laptop, and browser. So that, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if this one had browser, but it definitely had mobile and PC interplay.
Developing online.
Like Albion Online, exactly. And somehow that technology doesn't seem to be working as easily as developers thought it would, because all these games keep getting pushed back.
And I'm sure they were like so eager to announce that early on, so they kind of committed to it. Like, just tell them, we'll get it on all of them. It'll be on all the platforms.
Well,
No, are you sure, boss?
I think one of the big hurdles to working with mobile is mobiles. If you require them to be over Wi-Fi, less people play it. But if you don't require them to be over Wi-Fi, you have to deal with all sorts of like internet connection breaks and delays. You have to figure out how to work with that.
I also want to point out that's not just the only issue. If we look at the UI in this trailer, that's a standard PC game UI. How the hell do you translate that on a phone? There's
That's
You've
true.
seen
13
MMORPGs do
buttons. 13 buttons there. I've seen it too, but you have to rework. You have to make the UI comfortable for this to work on a mobile device, and then it has to still be able to. A player on a mobile device still has to be on equal grounds with someone on the computer, and it's supposed to be fun for both of them. It seems to get
I mean,
difficult
that's
to do.
unless they segregate it. Did they say they were going to?
There's been very little
No.
word on that. And
I know Albion's not.
yeah, Albion is not.
But you don't want to sit there and have to play a piano on your phone while you're trying to play an MMO. Like sit there with one hand tapping to move and the other one just like.
Right.
Especially because it's not very tactile, right? It's like
So that's a question for you guys. Which of these kind of action RPG Korean games are you looking more forward to? Lineage Eternal or Lost Ark? My bet, Lost Ark. My vote.
Lost Ark had the
Or
coolest trailer.
Yeah.
Moo
Lost Ark.
Legend.
Moo Legend.
What about
No,
that one?
I have zero
I think Moo
excitement
Legend
for
has the
any
best
game.
chance of coming out.
Probably.
I will say that.
We haven't heard anything about Lost Ark in a while, have we?
I'll tell you, you're way louder than everybody else. So you.
The Ark has been lost
you know.
forever.
But if you see the Lost Ark trailer, if you haven't seen it, I recommend you check it out. It's like a 14-minute trailer, but it's like super, super epic. It's remarkable.
20-minute trailer. It's crazy.
And also remember that the title reflects where it is in development.
Apparently, one of our last news posts really about it. Well, not last, but a closed beta test is supposed to happen in China sometime in this first half of 2016. But I have not heard anything about it. So I don't know if it got delayed. I don't know where it's at. Maybe it's coming around the corner. I really have no idea. It's just one of those games that kind of disappeared. Like what's the other one? Petra Chronicles. No word. Lost to the void.
Rest in pepperoni even before it even came out.
Yeah, that's our last news post. How sad.
Guys, who's excited for Overwatch? All right.
Oh, back to
I'm pumped
Overwatch?
for Overwatch.
All right.
I really
back
am.
to
I want to
Overwatch,
hate
boys.
Blizzard, but I'm really excited for it.
Here's a good comic from Dorkly on the truth behind Blizzard's Overwatch. I feel like this is a pretty good conspiracy theory, so I think it's pretty spot on. So just share this with the podcast.
I'm reading it right now. What you?
So the whole butt tracer thing was a conspiracy by Blizzard to get people talking about Overwatch, and let's be real, it worked.
It worked. I did not pay attention to Overwatch until this came out, and then I got really excited.
Can anyone scroll to the bottom of that page? There's a really awkward video.
No, don't watch that video. That's
Don't
unrelated.
like that.
That's unrelated to this. But let's be like, we started really talking about Overwatch after the Buckgate situation. All right, hashtag Buckgate.
Why do you play a game on everything?
But
Where people start complaining about Tracer's outfit.
that was
and,
like so
everyone
dumb,
talked about
dude.
it.
That was the worst.
Okay, but it got us talking. Think of like could that have been a marketing plan? Do you guys think that was a marketing plan, or did that just kind of happen?
No, it was
I
not
think
a
it just
marketing plan.
happened.
It just
Really?
happened.
I
No,
think that's
conspiracies like that don't exist. Get the fuck out of here.
Why?
okay.
But
I
the-
think
No.
they designed the character, and they just happened to make a pose that people happen to get offended by. You know, it's just like it's kind of one of those things where they're probably sitting there like they didn't even think about it because it's not like she's like bending over, sticking her ass out. You know what I mean? It just kind of probably happened.
But I don't know. I feel like this could be a conspiracy theory because what they replaced it with was still kind of
Okay,
similar.
but what they've replaced it with has historical significance, so they can back that whenever anybody complains about it.
I don't know. I maintain it's plausible that it could have been a conspiracy theory and it could have been legit.
No, I think it was just
It's
genuine.
plausible. It's
I think
within
it
the
was-
realm of possibility. Give me 1%, Matt. Give me 1%.
I think it was genuine naivety.
All right, mate. All right.
And
I do
think
want to
the
point
peop-
out. Go ahead, Matt. I'm sorry.
I think the people that were offended by it are just idiots to begin with. But
Yep.
I do also
100%.
want to point out, though, that one thing that the whole controversy got right is that I do think this was just filler, that they were still working on the poses, because this, if you know, played the game, doesn't fit Tracer's personality, and what they replaced it with still shows off her butt, and she puts her leg in the air, and it's much more like quirky Tracer. So I just think this was just
I honestly,
filler.
I didn't really notice the difference between this one and the new one. They're both like they look the same to me. Like you can still see her butt. Like what's the
I don't know.
what's
I
the
think the other
difference?
one just has her leg up.
Well, like Sean said, there were a lot of people complaining that it didn't fit Tracer's personality, and I'm sitting here like, a lot of you haven't even played the game. Like, what do you think Tracer's personality is? Like,
It's quirky.
It's quirky.
It's quirky. You gotta play the game, though. I think I watched the video.
Okay. By the way, there's already a whole lot of Tracer porn out there for those interested. I'm just throwing that out there.
It's been out there.
It's been out there for some time. Yes.
And
There's
Pinterest is the cesspool of it all.
Pinterest? What? Are you
Pin-
kidding me?
There's
I'm not
actually a
kidding you.
VR game. There's a VR game and Tracer's in it. All right. Don't ask me how I found out, but it's there.
No, is this a game or something else?
Well, I mean, by game, like as much as VR porn games can be games,
I want to point out, and speaking of VR, I just got my confirmation order that my Oculus was shipped.
Oh, congratulations!
So, just not thank you. It was only 2 months overdue. And meanwhile, you assholes ordered your Vive 3 months after I audited my Oculus and got it right away. So we shall see. So
ATC's on the ball. All right.
I switched
It's
sides, guys. I switched sides.
Why?
Did you order Vive too?
Yeah, I have the Oculus pre-order, and I just straight up ordered the Vive.
Well, we canceled our Oculus too, so we brought you to our side.
What happened was I did a lot of comparisons, and the fact that the Oculus doesn't ship with like a VR controller is like pretty bullshit.
Yeah.
You get like this
100%.
shitty Xbox controller. It's like not the same, you know?
Yeah.
actually,
Definitely.
one thing that sold me on the Oculus over the Vive was just that the Oculus works better with Elite Dangerous. That the Vive, for some reason, it's just not compatible at this time. That they didn't optimize the game for it. So I'm sure that'll be fixed in the long run. But I'm hoping to not just make my Rift into a gimmick item I show relatives when they come over, as Erhan so eloquently repeats. So I hopefully will get absorbed into that game and actually use my Rift. We will see, though. I could also just turn around and sell it on eBay. So
All right.
Well, what's the
Yes,
premium? Is there a
I just-
premium?
Okay, see, here's the funny thing. This is the greatest thing for me. I was skeptical about VR. Erhan and Omer kept saying it was going to be this amazing, great thing. They've touched
Oh,
it,
we're
what,
not done yet.
twice?
We've
We're
touched
not
it
done yet.
twice.
we're not done
Twice?
yet, man.
Yeah,
Whoa,
but you've
not
had it for
done
how
yet,
long?
man.
And you've
Overtime,
only-
overtime. We'll talk about
Save
VR
for
in
overtime,
overtime.
Save for VR overtime. We have some MMORPG news for The Legend of Aries, all right? A classic, older MMORPG.
Oh, wonderful.
I did a first look for on the Hut Days forever ago, and it's coming back through Red Fox Games, all right, guys? Red Fox is the new Suba Games.
This was actually one of my. I think. Let me think. Okay.
So you
This,
have to put a level to their necromancy powers. What level? is super
They're both.
fun.
They're the only two these two are on the ball. They're just bringing back every dead game.
This was
This
one of my
video is
5
hilarious.
first. This was one of my 5 first free-to-play MMORPGs. I'm not exactly sure it was first, but it was definitely one of the first.
One of
This
your
dude is
5 first.
perfect
Specific.
attack speed.
Yeah.
I like the turtle like lagging. Like it's like
Everything on this video is perfect. Even that game cam logo on the bottom right. All right, it's just perfect. There's so much wrong with it that became amazing. All right. Even the beginning of the video, which I skipped for you guys, like some red text, and it's the fact that it's
music
like
choice.
it's got the black bars on left and right. Like everything about it is just top notch. This is what YouTube looked like 10 years ago.
You know what's
Dude,
weird?
these animations of like the turtle like just jumping around and doing a 360. Like what the fuck?
I don't remember the graphics being this bad when I played. But so
I
that's
agree.
just
Are you kidding?
it's just a
It was
gauge
terrible.
of how like our expectations change, you know, because I remember thinking, okay, this is, you know, it's not great, but you know, it's, you know, I can see it's a palm tree, it's a turtle, it's a beach, you know, I got a sword. It was all right, you know.
Wow,
But-
Dude.
how slow is this game? I've been watching this guy stand still and beat up this turtle for like 30 seconds now. And he still hasn't
turtles
killed
don't
it.
f around, all right? The
And this is
360
Some of
Yeah.
those turtles like spinning at him, like jumping.
They're like flying.
I know.
pretty plus.
Look at the helicopter turtle at like 3:30. Like what the fuck?
Sure, this is a quality design game. That's why it's coming back. All right.
Hey
I
guys,
don't think there's a word on it yet when it's
Oh
coming
my-
back, but
this
the
game is
pace
gonna
are- yeah.
outlast WildStar. How does that make you feel?
And this is the quality music choice beaten only by bodies.
Let the bodies.
Oh, dude. Yeah, I remember in YouTube like 10 years ago, 12 years ago. Any video you clicked on, there was a 20% chance it was bodies as the background music. Like any gaming video, there's a 20% chance you were gonna hear it. Yo, epic loot, I know, right? Yo, who's excited for Legend? Guys, when this game launches, I want an MMOs.com guild in Legend of Aries. All
All
right,
right,
I
Sunday
wanna be the
Fun Day.
top
Sunday
dog.
Fun Day, Aries.
Right, we're Sunday Fun Day Legend of Aries the week it comes out. We're gonna be top
my
dog.
God.
All right, all right. How about this?
We're top dogging it.
We each grind for an hour, and then we duel. We have a duel tournament.
Fine, we do it. Whoever finds better loot is gonna win, but I'm down.
Whoever picks the rig class, whatever it is. I have no clue.
Make
Yo,
sure
I
Google
remember
that
I
shit.
actually played this back I had fun with it because like it was like, you know, when you play a really bad game or just a Duke game, like you play, like, you just want something a little bit different. You want to kill some time. There's something about MMORPGs that like the progression is what like you just want to progress for no reason but to progress. You're not invested in the story, the world, the characters. You're like, you know what? I want to play this shit. All right.
I want to point out that one of our commenters, Dadakuma, has probably said the wisest thing all night, and the exact quote is, Omer picks the worst Sunday fun day.
Listen.
Which is certainly something we've said before.
We're
It
going
is
hard.
pretty true. It is pretty true. I'm
What?
sorry, Omer.
Yo,
Oh, Mayor, you pick Sunday Fun Days not based on what's going to be fun, but what's going to be funny. And you know
Yeah.
what? Funny leads to the like dullest.
It's
Sunday
not Sunday
Fun
Funny
Days I've
Day.
ever had.
It's Sunday Fun Day. It's Sunday Fun Day.
I had
Melting
fun in
Blood
our
was
Guns
fun,
video.
though.
I had
Melting
fun
Blood
in
was
Melting
fun.
Melting
Blood.
was fun.
Okay,
Melting
so-
Blood was a lot of fun.
But Metal Assault, we played it for what, half an hour? We played
Oh, that was-
Melting
that was
Bread for like
garbage.
an hour and a half.
Okay, Metal Assault was awful. All right, that was a
Yeah,
bad
that
one.
was
I'll throw
your
that out there.
pick. And then you're picking this crap now.
Legend of Aries is a quality game, all right, guys? Quality material.
Oh my god.
We will all have a blast in Legend of Aries. And you guys, you know, Matt, by the time we're done on Sunday Fun Day, you're gonna apologize to me. Say, Omer, I was sorry for ever criticizing Legend of Aries. It is my new favorite game.
See, Omer picked Melty Blood because he wanted to talk during the video, not because he thought it was a good pick.
Yo,
He
Melty Blood
also
was a
picked
fun
it
game.
because he
talk,
played it for
we talk.
12 hours, and I played it for 0, and I still took a round off him.
Yo, I played a random character, and Shu let us all win. All right, come on.
That's true. She did let
All
us
right,
know.
well, I beat you. I didn't beat Shu.
All right, you beat me at a random character.
But Shu did copy my strategy one round.
I did. It was really quality. It made Matt really angry. I'm sorry, Matt. I'm sure you can use that.
Anyway, Legend of Aries, when it comes out, whenever it does come out, we will check it out. I don't expect too much from the game, but I'm sure you can get an hour of fun out of it at least. And if we don't do it for Sunday Fun Day, I definitely will do a first look for it regardless.
All right. Well, I want to quickly
Yeah,
cover
you can,
before.
you can
okay,
do
go
that
ahead.
on your time where you're not torturing us with it.
Guys. Game of the Year material, all right?
All right. I
Honestly,
have-
guys, MMOs.com Game of the Year, it's going to be War Mode. I'm just throwing that out there right now. All right, War Mode will win Game
We
of the
already
Year.
did it.
Matt, I mean, Sean, we're going to go back. We're gonna make one more game of the year.
We're gonna have a
Every
game
year.
of the year.
You
I don't
can't
give a
even
shit.
tell who we are anymore. It's just him versus everybody else now. Come on. What is this?
All right, go ahead. Whoever's
I have a good philosophical discussion. All right, controversy discussion of the
Oh.
week, gaming
All
related.
right.
Okay, so as we said earlier, a lot of gaming companies have released their earnings this quarter, for the
Yes.
quarter, and Electronic Arts was among them. And Electronic Arts did well, blah blah blah. No one cares. But there was a quote by the CEO which I thought was really fitting. He said, "Quote: We are providing self-actualization for a great many of our players."
Fuck you. Fuck you.
Okay, so this is an awesome CEO quote. He's saying his products, which are games, Electronic Arts, are actually right up there after food, shelter. Okay, the next.
Maslow's hierarchy.
Yeah, so there's a hierarchy of what you need.
Wait, what?
So just read the article.
All right, once you get past air, food, water, shelter, you get to social connections, sense of belonging, Wilson said. You get to self-esteem, overcoming challenges and building self-worth, and you get to self-actualization. Creation in a living world. All of those things are embodied by entertainment.
And we believe games
Madden?
are the most valuable form of entertainment, giving
Oh my god.
their ability to fulfill those fundamental human needs.
Fundamental human needs. Me fragging some kids in Battlefield is a fundamental human need, alright guys?
Yeah, that's a fundamental human need for me. Okay, I
To
just
teabag some people in
I
Battlefield.
gotta get the frags, you know.
Okay,
It's in the
so
game.
He's saying he's
It's in
providing.
the game.
It's in the game.
Okay,
EA Sports.
so I'm calling the next stupid quote from a CEO. Ubisoft is going to say that their titles teach history.
What? You don't? That's how history works. You,
Yo, Assassin's Creed is basically a historic. It might as well be on the History Channel, alright? They're making a movie on it too, guys. And Assassin's Creed's movie's coming out too. It's historically accurate, obviously.
So wait, let's go back to this quick discussion here. Do you think? And actually, look, he's obviously using some lofty CEO buzzwords, right? But
Yeah.
I do think games are a great tool to connect, socialize, with people all over the world. And there's no way I would meet the number of people I've met without if it
Okay,
wasn't
but-
for online games.
But a self-actualized person in Maslow's typical hierarchy is someone who finds creative fulfillment,
All right.
right? So
So my WoW raid group, that's
Go
pretty
ahead.
creative.
that's
Yeah.
not part of EA.
Oh, whatever. Yeah, same thing. Any of the EA games, you can be okay. How about this? What's more creative? Playing a game, online game, with friends, and
Yeah.
coming up with strategies or whatever to beat the boss level, whatever,
Tragedies.
or like just watching Gilligan's Island on TV.
Why would you pick Gilligan's Island as your example? Nobody,
Of all the TV shows.
What the
Yeah.
hell?
nobody even knows what that is. That's so old. That was on like Naked
Yeah,
Night.
Did any of you guys actually watch Gilligan's
Yo,
Island?
I watched Gilligan.
Yes, I did.
Oh my
That was a
god.
good show, for the
Basically-
record.
What was
It
that
was a
on,
good
like
show.
Nick at Night or some shit?
Yeah.
Lord.
That was a Naked Night when we were kids.
All right, Wilson here is basically saying that by playing EA games, people feel that they're living fulfilling lives. I think that he's an egotistical piece of shit looking to sell his products, and that there's no guarantee. I'm sure for some people, sure, that's fine, but to say that somehow EA has nestled itself in Maslow's hierarchy to help people feel self-actualized is the fucking biggest piece of shit statement that someone could make.
Wow,
As the leader of a
strong
company.
word, Sean.
So
he's an
what a
enabler, right? You're a hater. He's an
ridiculous
enabler.
Assertion. What a ridiculous assertion.
I feel actualized when I play Battlefield. All right.
Look,
You don't
again,
even play Battlefield.
look, take what he said and tone it down. It makes sense. All right. Obviously, he's doing a lot of cheerleading and pumping for
That's
his
not
company.
just cheerleading. That's using words. He's planning on people not
He's not
understanding
allowed
what
to
he's
use
talking
those
about.
funny, silly words. He's not a
Okay,
philosopher.
hey,
Only I can
wait.
use those words. That's what I'm here
No,
for.
but he's
I
doing
went
it-
to school.
Guys.
I got a philosophy degree. He can't say
It's
those words.
psychology, not philosophy. It's psychology.
Guys.
Maslow's been disproven over and over again.
Guys, this isn't even important. What's more important is how much money he spent on his haircut,
Yeah,
okay?
he's a pretty suave looking dude, all right?
It's true.
Okay, so and the reason I said this is CEO language is because
Yeah.
CEOs always try to do this. They try to make their industry like the top of the world, right? And it makes sense,
Of course. Yeah,
And
yeah.
there was a timeshare company, so this guy sold timeshares, and the CEO told the salesman, "You guys aren't just selling timeshares; you're saving lives, because your customers they want to go are stressed out office workers who need to go on vacation a few times a year, or they'll kill themselves from stress." So he said, "By that
Wow.
transitive property, you're saving lives."
So sometimes
that
shares
one better.
save lives.
So I mean,
Makes sense to me.
how long until a game company says something along those lines? Like, you're not just making games or entertainment; you're saving lives. You know?
Every time
Make the world a better
every
place.
time
It'll
I,
Guys,
Every
it'll be a
time I
full
go-
180 from.
every time you buy gold from a China farmer, you're saving lives. You're putting rice on the table.
Every time a turtle does a 360 jump, like we saw in the Legend of Aries video, right? It's saving lives.
Guys, it'll have to be a full 180 from Jack Thompson before somebody says that.
Oh yeah, I remember that guy.
Is Jack Thompson still relevant?
He made
It's like-
some comment or other last year. I can't remember.
He really fell off the world. I mean, people already realized his nonsense was bullshit. Hopefully one day people will realize all this feminism and video game stuff will be nonsense too. But we'll see.
I have very strong opinions on that I'm not going to share.
Uh-oh.
It's alright, man. Whenever the next controversy strikes, we'll talk about it.
All right,
Wait,
we'll
are
make
you
sure-
guys
wait till
talking
then.
shit about game feminism?
Yeah, shoot,
No,
don't
go
you
ahead,
know?
go ahead.
No, okay.
Video games are oppressing women. Don't you know that? Be oppressed.
It's actually not about the people that are spouting that. It's not about that. But anyways.
I
Well,
can be a serial killer IRL because I saved lives as a healer in an MMO. That makes sense. It balances out, you know. You save lives in an MMO, you kill people in real life.
so
Right?
so I want to get the final tally on this guy's I guess opinion here. I know Sean didn't like the language, but Omar kind of seems to agree with him.
I agree with him. Minus like the pompous, like bombastic level of edit. Like he's keeping it at a 10. He's got to bring it to a 5 to be realistic. All right, but I agree with this premise.
I do too. Because after food, shelter, whatever, you know, I basically socialize online. You know, so
After food, shelter, and hentai.
Yeah.
Let's
What
get
you're
the hierarchy
basically-
correct.
Hold on. What you're basically doing then is Discord lets me self-actualize. I socialize more on Discord than I do
right, but
in any games.
But if I didn't play
so Discord
games-
is more of a self-actualizing factor in
No,
my life
listen,
than fucking Star Wars Battlefront is.
but we need on Discord. You need at least some shared cross section.
That's not true. I said
Yeah.
Discord bullshit all day.
But with people you already know.
Okay. See, what I hear right now is I
It's
hear
not-
you guys are buying it because it sounds fancy.
No, I don't like the fancy level language. I agree with his premise, not the fancy part. The fancy part was.
But how do you
completely-
even know you're getting his premise right?
Okay, here's
I'm getting-
hold up. When you guys talk online, like on whatever Discord, okay, I can not play games and talk to my old friends, easy, right? But if if I talk to someone new for the first time, a stranger online, I have to have met them in a game, or we have to have a similar interest, and then eventually we play together.
Erhan. Basically, what you're doing then is you're saying that when I go to a bar and
But I don't go to bars.
drinking, what I'm saying is when I do that, because I do that. And I
But
meet
you're a
random
normie.
people.
Get out of here.
But I'm
Yeah, you're a peasant. Get out of here,
when
Norman.
hold on, let me finish. When I meet random people at a bar and I talk to them, you're making an equivalency that says that bar is letting me alcohol lets me self-actualize.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
What?
Alcohol is a lubricant of
Total
self-actualization.
bullshit statement.
Why?
Because then, what the hell does self-actualization mean? To me, basically, what we're deciding here is that it's a totally meaningless statement that can apply to anything, anywhere, anytime, and that all this guy is doing is putting out flowery language to try and sell his shit. It's meaningless. The entire
I mean,
statement.
we have to
is
agree
meaningless.
on the role of the definition of self-actualization, all right?
It's
Hey guys,
let's go to Wikipedia. Let's
heroin
go to Wikipedia.
heroin helps me self-actualize.
Yeah, heroin. I bond with people over heroin in the Den in Patterson every Tuesday night.
It's a realization of fulfillment.
Okay, I think what Sean's saying is you guys are saying that online games help you self-actualize because they let you socialize, blah, 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 meet new people.
Yeah.
But the real way that online games would help all of us here self-actualize is that we're creating creative content for a website that we are proud of.
Right, that's true. So we're creators.
That's one way of doing it, too.
That's how we're self-actualizing, and it has nothing to do with playing the game itself.
No, it does though, because games foster. Okay, compared to other forms of activities like TV, even reading books, right?
It's cooperative.
It not just that. I think for even like let's say you're playing Minecraft, which none of us do, so it's like a fair example. You're more likely to create your own thing. You're gonna go online, meet community, work with people, like join a server where everyone's building a Game of Thrones castle, like.
Okay, but that's different. That because you could go out on the street, start a painting, have somebody else.
But
come
you
up,
won't. But you won't. That's the
You
issue.
could.
Erhan, a self-actualizer is a person who is living creatively and fully using his or her potentials. Playing fucking Battlefield is not living creatively.
What about Minecraft? What about let's say you're 12 years
Whoa,
old?
in Battlefield, if I take a rocket launcher and shoot a helicopter out of the sky, it's pretty creative, all right?
It's
That's
a very
creative.
Marxist. You realize that it's a very Marxist statement. It's
Oh,
the idea
God.
that
Come
fuck
on.
you. That's exactly what it is, and he's misusing the word.
Gumby, you're getting a little too passionate there, buddy. Take the passion down.
Can you cite your sources, please?
Take the passion fruit down.
Oh, I like passion fruit. It's nice.
Yeah.
I'm waiting to hear that Erhan and Elmer have been brainwashed by the statement and are going out and buying EA's entire catalog.
Right, you're gonna
Listen. You have to take what he said.
Must
Take context.
self-actualize.
He said
No,
after
that's
food,
what he asked.
air, shelter, water, after your basic needs are met, right? Entertainment is a very powerful tool
So
that helps people socialize and do like
that's
achieve.
not self-actualization, though. Again, self-actualization is at the end of the pyramid.
Okay,
the
he's talking about
realization
2 tiers below.
or fulfillment of one's talents and potentials, especially considered as a drive or a need present in everyone. It's a drive. It creates,
But what are
You
you
get better-
creating?
yeah.
That's what he's saying.
No, but listen,
not
you're
creating
getting better.
anything.
Aren't games more creative than like other forms of entertainment?
Okay.
You're
but-
creating
okay.
yourself, okay?
Oh, shoot, that's good. I like that.
Omer,
you're really creating a big boob character in a perfect world, all right? I'm doing it.
Right.
Omer, you can go out and read a ton of books and you can better yourself because you're reading and you're taking in a bunch of knowledge, but that's not self-actualization.
No, because you're not creating anything when you read.
Exactly! That was the exact point!
You're creating
But you're
plenty of
creating
things in
you're
Minecraft.
creating a unique experience when you play an online
That's
game.
one game.
Look,
that's what-
if I read a book, right, and you read the book, we read the same book, right? But
There's
if
no
we-
interaction,
th-
yes.
in like a Minecraft server, my Minecraft server will look nothing like yours after a month. You know?
Right. That's fair. That's fair. And I
But that's
agree that
Minecraft.
Minecraft can act as a catalyst. We're going in circles, by the way, so we should
Okay,
get off this in
but
just a
the
second.
reason that Minecraft works is because people treat Minecraft like it's a voxel engine.
Well, it's
they
a tool.
basically just build things that they could build in something that wasn't a game, but they use the game as entertainment.
Somebody
Like,
somebody
you
in chat said if you line up Erhan, Omar,
Yeah, that was
Sean,
good.
and Matt, you would have 4 stages of man beard.
That's really good.
Better yet, somebody said when I kill people online, I don't get banned. When I kill people IRL, I get banned for years.
All right, so final statements, and then let's be done with this one.
Yep.
All right.
Final thoughts. Terraria.
One sentence.
Terraria. Self-actualization happening. I like it.
Perfect.
All right,
Perfect.
all right, beautiful.
Homer,
I'm
one sentence.
self-actualizing when I play League of Legends because I wreck kids, win games, and I reach my potential. See, the realization and fulfillment of one's talents and potentials, especially considered as a drive or a need. See, I feel the drive and need to wreck kids. All right, that's my.
I think you want to rephrase that one.
No,
okay,
it's done.
wreck- no.
No, one sentence. should be
I
done.
stand by it, man. I stand by it.
Chris Hansen's coming for you.
What are you doing?
I stand by my statement.
Would you please have a seat over there?
Take a seat.
Okay.
Take a seat.
Anyways, it's bullshit. It's
Okay,
bullshit.
good. That's good.
He's full of shit. He's a CEO that is
One sentence, man.
Sure.
One sentence. How many
It's
comments put in there?
bullshit.
Guys,
Alright,
look
shoot.
how
Unless
look,
words.
look at this picture though. Look at this picture and look how
It's suave.
self-actualized he is. Just look.
He does look pretty self-actualized.
Yeah, but he
His,
doesn't
his $10 million bonus is really helping him actualize.
Hey, he doesn't self-actualize by playing his games, though. No, he sells them to you and puts his creative talents to work by selling them to you and coming up with these bullshit statements. Therefore, he is self-actualized, but you are not.
Alright, my final statement is, so guys, if you want any tips and tricks on how to self-actualize, make sure to head to MMOs.
I like it. I like it.
Self-actualization guides.
Yeah,
All right,
we,
next podcast, boys. Self-actualization guide.
we don't actually review games. We review self-actualization tools. Right?
Experiences. Self-actualization experiences.
They're not games anymore. They're experiences. Nice.
All right, there it is, guys. That's the end of the podcast. We'll continue in overtime. If you're watching this on YouTube, you can catch us live on Twitch on Tuesdays, and that way you can see the overtime yourself. So do that. And that's
There's
it.
also a pregame that you guys missed. Good
that
shit.
too.
Where we try and get our shit together in about 20 minutes to make this happen.
Yep. This was our 1-year anniversary, and thanks for sticking
yeah.
with us. And hopefully, the year ahead will be even better and greater and more self-actualization going on.
All right.
All right, take care.
See
Later,
ya.
guys.